In this session, I am going to explain about the stability. So, what is a stable system? What are the stable systems? Let me explain here. Suppose this is a system, and we will give the input for this. RFS is the input, and C of S is the output. Here, this is the system input, and it is the output. The system is said to be stable if it produces bounded output. If it produces bounded output for a bounded input. So this is the system. If it produces the bounded output for a bounded input, then the system is said to be stable system. If it produces unbounded output for a bounded input, then the system is said to be unstable system. Okay, so what is the bounded signal, or what is the unbounded signal? Bounded signal, this signal is also called as a finite signal. It is a finite signal. Bounded signal, suppose that means the signal has to provide a finite value at a whenever the time tends to infinity. That means for t tends to infinity, it has to produce a finite value, that is C of t gives a finite value. Normally it is 0 for a bounded signal. So you see here, suppose C of t is equal to some k into e power minus at. For t is equal to 0, C of 0 is equal to k into e power 0, that is equal to anything power 0 is equal to 1, that is equal to k. For t equal to infinity, C of infinity is equal to k into e power minus infinity, that is equal to k divided by 1 by e power infinity. So this will become infinity. 1 divided by infinity is 0, so that is equal to 0. That means C of infinity is equal to 0 and C of 0 is equal to k here. That means the minimum and maximum values are known values here, are finite values. So that this signal is called as finite signal. Okay, so at t is equal to 0, this is the time and it is the response. So C of t. Then at t is equal to 0, this value is k. This is k. And at t tends to infinity, then the value of the C of t will become 0. That means the signal will be like this. Signal will be approximately it is 0. So this is a bounded signal. Bounded signal means it has a finite minimum and maximum values. So that this one is also called as a finite signal. Normally when t tends to infinity, the signal has to produce a finite value. It is normally equal to 0. So this is called as bounded signal. That here for a stable system, so the system has to produce bounded output. Bounded output means like this. And unbounded signal. For t tends to infinity, the signal doesn't have any finite value. That means signal doesn't have any finite value. That means suppose if you take C of t is equal to k into t, some ramp signal. For t equal to 0, C of 0 is equal to 0. For t is equal to infinity, C of infinity is equal to infinity. That means it is not a finite value. That means the graph will be like this. For t is equal to 0, it is 0, and for t tends to infinity, it goes on increases. So this is a unbounded signal. It is an example for unbounded signal. And another example is also C of t is equal to, suppose C of t is equal to um, some k into e power at, k into e power at. For t is equal to 0, c of 0 is equal to k into e power 0, that is equal to k. For t is equal to infinity, c of infinity is equal to k into e power infinity, that is equal to infinity. So c of infinity is equal to infinity, c of 0 is equal to k here. So the graph should be like this. This is t is equal to 0. Here t tends to infinity. So t is equal to 0. The value of response is k, c of t. This is c of t. The value of the response is k. That means here it is k. And for t tends to infinity, the value of the response is infinity. So that it will become like this. This is exponentially increasing. Exponentially increasing. Exponentially increasing. Here it is exponentially decreasing. Exponentially decreasing. If the output produces like this waveform, then the system is stable, that is bounded. It is bounded output, then the system is stable. If the output produces like this or like this, it is goes on increases. It doesn't have any finite value at t tends to infinity. So these systems are unstable systems if the system produces this type of output. Okay, that means, see here, suppose some c of s, that means if the output means here the system produces the output have, this is the numerator divided by denominator. So if I make denominator is equal to 0, this is called as characteristic equation. From this we can get the poles of the system. That means the stability can also be defined in the poles location point of view. That means if the poles are located, if the poles are located at the right half of at the left half of the S-plane, LHS means left half of the S-plane, then the system is said to be stable system. If the poles are located at right half of the S-plane, then the system is said to be unstable systems. If the poles are located on the imaginary axis, then the system is said to be marginally stable or critically stable systems. Critically stable system. Here it is marginally stable or critically stable. Suppose if I take the three responses like this, C1 of S is equal to 1 by S plus 2, and C2 of S is equal to 1 by S minus 2, C3 of S is equal to suppose here it is 1 by 2 divided by S square plus 4, here. Suppose that means C1 of t, from this C1 of t is equal to some here it is e power minus 2t, C2 of t is equal to e power 2t, C3 of t here, C3 of t is equal to sine of 2t. So these are the responses here. Now if I take a graph for this one, for these responses, it is the time and it is C1 of t. Now this is the time, it is C2 of t. Next it is the time, and is C3 of t. C1 of t, for t is equal to 0, it is some 1 here, 1 value, and t tends to infinity, it will be decreases like this, exponentially decaying. This is the this is the response of first system C1 of t. Then the response of second system is, it is exponentially increasing. For t is equal to 0, the value of this one is 1. This is also 1 here. For t tends to infinity, this also tends to infinity. This is exponentially increasing, it is exponentially decreasing or decaying. Now sin 2t, the response of this one is should be like this. It will be oscillated around a point. It is oscillated around a point here. Okay, that is, this is the, it produces the oscillations, around a point. This is the point. This may not be 0, or this may not be 0 here. Okay, that means it is a stable system according to the bounded input and bounded output definition, Bibo stability. This is a stable system. Why? Because it is a bounded signal which is coming from the output of a system. It is unstable system. It is an unstable system, and it is a marginally stable or critically stable system. Marginally stable or critically stable systems. If the system produces like this type of waveforms, then the system is said to be marginally stable or critically stable systems. Suppose another system, if I take a C4 of S is equal to some 2 divided by S square plus 4 whole square, S square plus 4 whole square, then C4 of t is equal to, it is t into sin 2t, t into sin 2t here. And if I draw the waveform for this type of things, for this type of response, the waveform will become like this. It is t. Normally the graph for t is sin 2t is, this is the graph. For t, it is t, and if it is c of t is equal to, suppose t, this is the graph. The graph will be like this. T is equal to 0, 0, t is equal to infinity, it goes to infinity. So if I multiply these two signals, then I will get the signal will be like this. The signal will be, this goes on increases, it goes on increases, this type of, that means the signal will be goes on increases like this, like this. So this system is said to be unstable system. Why? Because unstable system, if the system produces this type of waveform, then the system is said to be unstable system. Why? Because whenever t tends to infinity, it goes on increases to some infinite value. It is not a finite value, so that the system is said to be unstable systems. Normally the stability of a systems can be categorized as absolute three things here, that is absolutely stable systems, conditionally stable systems, marginally stable systems. Here also I forgot to say one thing here. In this type of C1 of S is equal to 1 by S plus 2, so that C1 of t is equal to e power minus 2t. This system, if the system produces this type of response, then this system is said to be stable systems. So from this, what we have to understand here is, if the poles are located, if I take this is a S plane, this is plane, this is a S plane, imaginary axis, and it is a real axis. If the poles are located in the left half of the S plane, so this is the left half of the, this total is the left half of the S plane, this total is the right half of the S plane, and it is the imaginary axis. Okay, if the pole here, yes, C1 of S is equal to 1 by S plus 2, in this the pole is S is equal to minus 2. That means this pole is located at the left half of the S plane. Suppose here, if you see, this s is equal to minus 2. This is s is equal to minus 2 point. This is s is equal to minus 2 point. That means this is the pole here. This is the pole. So that means if the poles are located in the left half of the S plane, then the system is said to be stable system. Then the system is said to be stable system. Why? Because the waveform will be like that, bounded output. It produces the bounded output. Okay. If the poles are located in the right half of the S plane, that is S is equal here, S is equal to 2. That means the pole is located at S is equal to 2 here. That means S is equal to 2. This is S is equal to 2. The pole is located here. Then the system is said to be, it produces the unbounded output. So that the system is said to be unstable systems. If the poles are located here, the pole s square plus 4 is equal to 0, s square plus 2 square is equal to 0, s square is equal to minus 2 square, s is equal to plus or minus j2, plus or minus j2. That means if the poles are imaginary, that means if the poles are located in the imaginary axis, so it is plus j2 and it is minus j2. If the poles are located in the imaginary axis, and also that is they are the non-repeated poles. The poles are non-repeated poles. Non-repeated means there is no another pole at this point itself. Here also there is no another pole at this point itself. If the non-repeated poles are in the imaginary axis, then the system is said to be marginally stable system. This is the marginally stable system. Next, suppose if the poles are here, s square plus 4 whole square is equal to 0. Same thing here, s square plus 2 square whole square is equal to 0. S is equal to plus or minus j2 comma s is equal to plus or minus j2. 4 poles are present here. So in these 4 poles, repeated poles here, s is equal to plus j2 and s is equal to another pole is also plus j2. 2 poles are repeated here. Here also s is equal to minus j2 and s is equal to minus j2. 2 poles are repeated here. If the repeated poles are located in the imaginary axis, then the system is said to be this one. It is a unstable system. Then the system is said to be unstable system. So finally what I want to say here is, if the poles are located in the left half of the S plane, then the system is said to be stable system. If the poles are located in the right half of the S plane, then the system is said to be stable system. If the poles means the roots of the characteristic equation. The roots of the characteristic equation means characteristic equation is the denominator polynomial. If I make a denominator polynomial is equal to 0 in the response of a system, then that is a characteristic equation. If the poles are located in the imaginary axis, then the system is said to be marginally stable or critically stable. That means if the non-repeated poles are located in the imaginary axis, then the system is said to be marginally stable or critically stable. If the repeated poles are located in the imaginary axis, like this, if the repeated poles are located in the imaginary axis, then the system is said to be unstable systems. Now let us come to this concept. So what are the absolutely stable systems, conditionally stable systems, and marginally stable systems? Okay, absolutely stable systems, if all the poles are located, if all the roots of the characteristic equation are located at the left half of the S plane, then the system is said to be absolutely stable system. Absolutely stable system. And the examples for this one also, here it is C of S is equal to some k divided by S plus 2 into S plus 3, like this. This is the example. Why? Because minus 2, minus 3, they are located at the left half of the S plane, the poles of the characteristic equation. So that the system is said to be absolutely stable system. Then conditionally stable systems. So the conditionally stable systems can be analyzed using this concept here, using the Routh-Hurwitz criterion. Suppose if the characteristic equation is s square plus 8s plus 2 s cube plus 8s square plus 2s plus k is equal to 0. This is the characteristic equation, or the denominator of the output or a response. Okay, then you see here s cube, s square, s power 1, s power 0. Here s cube means 1, leave one term here, 2, and here it is 8, it is k, and multiply these two. 8 into 2 16 minus k divided by 8. Next 8 into 0 0, so this is 0. Next if I want to find this one into this one, it is 16 minus k divided by 8 into k minus 0 into 8 divided by this one, 16 minus k divided by 8. This one will get cancelled here, so this term that is present here is k. So according to the stability concept in a Routh-Hurwitz criterion, if the first column of the Routh array, this is the first column of the Routh array, consists all the positive values, then the system is said to be stable system. First column of the Routh array consists all the positive values, then the system is said to be stable system. If any negative value in this first column of the Routh array, then the system is said to be unstable system. And also unstable system means stable system means all the poles are located in the left half of the S plane. Unstable system means some of the poles may be located on the right half of the S plane. Then it can also we can also find how many poles are located on the right half of the S plane from this first column of the Routh array. The number of sign changes in this first column of the Routh array will give the number of poles that are located in the right half of the S plane. Suppose this is the positive value, we know that this is a positive value plus 1, and it is also positive value plus 8. Suppose it gives a negative value, it is a negative value, and also if it gives the positive value, it gives the positive value, and if it gives a positive value, it gives a negative value. Here from here to here one sign change, plus to minus. From here to here it is another sign change, so it is a one sign change, it is another sign change, two sign changes. So there are two sign changes here, two sign changes, so that the two poles are located, in the right half of the S plane. What I want to say here is, if the first column of Routh array consists any negative value, then the system is said to be unstable system. And the how many number of poles are located in the right half of the S plane can also be found from this first column of the Routh array. Depending upon the number of sign changes in the first column of Routh array, we can find out the number of poles located on the right half of the S plane. Since there is a two, suppose here I am assuming that it is a negative value and it is a positive value here. So plus to minus, there is a sign change here. Minus to plus, there is a sign change here. So that two sign changes are present here. So that two poles are located on the right half of the S plane. And also the marginally stable systems are critically stable systems. That means up to which we can increase the gain k. After that, if we increase any increase in gain, that will become unstable systems. That means 16 minus k is equal to 0. 16 minus k divided by 8 is equal to 0, and is equal to 16 is equal to k. So k, it is marginally 16, k marginal. It is the, suppose if the gain k is equal to 16, then the system is said to be marginally stable systems. In this marginally stable system, one row of this Routh array will become 0. One row of the Routh array will become 0 here. Then this system is said to be marginally stable systems. Okay. Here the system is said to be marginally stable system. Okay. So we discussed about the absolutely stable system, conditionally stable system, and also this marginally stable systems. Conditionally stable systems, I forgot to say one thing here. Conditionally stable systems, that is that means if the first column of this row array will become positive value, then the system is said to be stable. That means 16 minus k divided by 8 is a first column of the positive, that is that should be greater than 0. And here also k, this column, this one will consist of the k should be greater than 0. And from this 16 minus k should be greater than 0, or 16 is greater than k, or k less than 16. So this is one condition. It is another condition. If I combine these two conditions here, so the value of k is 0 less than k less than 16. So for this type of system, so that is for this type of characteristic equations, if the k value changes from 0 to 16, then the system is said to be stable system. And if the k is equal to 16, then the system is said to be marginally stable or critically stable system. If k greater than 16 or k less than 0, k less than 0, then the systems are said to be unstable systems. So this is called as conditionally stable systems. And next let me explain about the relative stability. Relative stability means when compared to one system, how will be the another system stability? That is what we are going to analyze here. Suppose if I take one system, that is a C1 of S, the output of one system is C1 of S is equal to 1 by S plus 2, and the output of another system is C2 of S is equal to 1 by S plus 3. Okay, that is here it is minus 2 and it is minus 3. The system has the pole is minus 2, the system 2 has the pole is minus 3. So what I want to say here is the systems which are having the poles away from the origin, then the systems are more stable than the systems whose poles are nearer to the origin. So here in these two systems, this S is equal to minus 3 pole is far away from the origin or far away from the imaginary axis. So this system is, and minus 2 is nearer to the imaginary axis when compared to this minus 3. So this system is more stable than this system. So this system 1 is more stable. This is system 2, sorry, this is system 1 and is system 2. The system 2 is more stable than the system 1. How it is more stable? Suppose C1 of S is equal to 1 by S plus 2, C1 of t is equal to e power minus 2t, and C2 of t is equal to e power minus 3t here. So here e power minus 2t, in this e power minus 2t, if I draw a diagram here, graph here, it is C1 of t is equal to, it is t, e power minus 2t. The graph of for this one is this will be like this. And if I draw the graph for a C2 of t, it is C2 of t, it is the time t, it is C2 of t, and the graph will be like this. For C2 of t, the graph will be like this. So if you observe one thing here, for getting the steady state for the system 1, it takes more time. For getting the steady state for the system 2, it takes less time when compared to system 1. So that it will comes to steady state, second system will comes to steady state first, after that. So here when compared to system 1, system 2 is more stable. Why? Because the system 2 will comes to its steady state faster than the system 1. So it is more stable. That means this system is more stable. That means this system is more stable when compared to this system. That means if the poles of the characteristic equation are far away from the imaginary axis, then those systems are more stable than the systems whose characteristic equation roots are nearer to imaginary axis. So when compared to these two systems, this is more stable, it is more stable, it is more stable, and it is less stable when compared to this system. If I take another system, C1 of S is equal to 1 by S plus 1. So the pole is here, it is minus 1. When compared to, suppose it is C3 of S, let us take it is C3 of S. When compared to this C1 of S, this system 1 is more stable when compared to this system, and it is less stable when compared to this system. If I consider C3 of S, this system, it is less stable when compared to this system and less stable when compared to this system. So this is nothing but relative stability. And also here another concept here in this relative stability, that is suppose there is a system here of systems C1 of S is equal to 1 by S plus 2 and C2 of S is equal to 1 by S plus 3 or S plus 4. Let's take it is S plus 4. Here if I draw an S plane here, this is an S plane, a real axis, and it is imaginary axis. So S is equal to minus 2, it is S is equal to minus 2, S is equal to minus 4, it is S is equal to minus 3 here. So here it is two poles are present. Two poles means this is for system 1, it is for system 1, and this is for system 2, it's for system 2. Okay, and here S is equal to 0, this is S is equal to 0. Suppose if I shift this imaginary axis from its origin or from its 0 location to some minus 1, here it is minus 1 location. Suppose if I shift this imaginary axis from here to this one, here S is equal to minus 1 is the point here, this is S is equal to minus 1, or S plus 1 is equal to 0, or I will take some Z is equal to 0 here, where Z is equal to S plus 1, that is equal to S plus 1. That means if I take a graph here, this is the graph. This is the Z plane. Now it is Z plane, and here it is Z is equal to 0. Why? Because whenever S is equal to minus 1, if I substitute here minus 1 plus 1, that is equal to 0 here. So it is the Z is equal to 0 plus. So that this is the imaginary axis. So this is the Z plane. So this is the right half of the S plane, and it is the left half of the S plane, and this is the imaginary axis.